welcome to my channel, Homesteading Barbie here. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I manage my endometriosis. So I was diagnosed in 2012 and I did a bunch of research to figure out how I can feel better naturally. I did not want to get the surgery. The surgery forces you into menopause. I was way too young for that and doesn't really work most of the time. So this is what I have found. It's a very long list, so I made an outline so that I don't miss anything. So endometriosis is an overabundance of estrogen, and a lot of times it manifests as estrogen with an X. So that is petroleum products, too many petroleum products that break down and flood your system with estrogen. So that is in nearly everything. In 1980, there was only 20 cases of endometriosis. When I was diagnosed in 2012, 1 in 20 women had it. And I just recently saw a statistic that 1 in 10 women have it. So this is a serious issue and it can be extremely painful. I even was reading that when you're going through it, it's very common to lose your job, lose your man, lose all your friends because you're in so much pain and it doesn't really manifest itself as one particular thing, that it drives you crazy and it drives everyone around you crazy. I got to the point where I couldn't get out of bed without painkillers. So this is something that I have found that you don't have. I don't use painkillers at all anymore. I have tons of energy. I feel better than I have in my whole life. And it's all due to a few simple things that take a lot of time, but they're way, way worth it. So estrogen with an X is from petroleum products. So we use petroleum for almost everything. It is ridiculous. So we plow the fields with a tractor, and then we plant the fields with a tractor, and then the nutrients we use are all petroleum based, and the pesticides we use are all petroleum based, and then we gather the food with a tractor, and then we put it in a truck and take it to the factory, and the factory is run on petroleum, and then that goes into a truck and it goes to the grocery store, and then we get in our cars and we take out a little plastic bag. It's actually a statistic that I read was 5 gallons of petroleum per 1 ounce of food. So that is absolutely ridiculous. And then it's in everything. It's in your body lotion. It's in your hair products. It's in your makeup. It's in your everything. And so women especially are just bombarded with this constantly. On top of that, I was on orthotricycline for a long time, which is very estrogen dominant. And then I was also vegetarian in college. So I was eating a lot of soy, which is incredibly estrogen. So it's just like estrogen on top of estrogen on top of estrogen. And then I was also learning that there are so many women on birth control that they are finding estrogen in the water. So we are just flooded with estrogen from every level. Okay, so how do we start to combat this? Well, first thing is getting control of your health from many different angles. Okay, so to me, the biggest thing is the food. If you can be more involved in your food process, so the more involved you can be, the better it is. So pretty much the slower the food, the healthier it is. So growing your own food, foraging your own food, buying organic, these things are going to make a huge difference over time. Distilled water is absolutely fantastic. It's just rainwater. They say it leaches things out of you, but it leaches the bad stuff out of you. So if you live in an area that doesn't have very good water, just switching your water can make a huge difference in your general health. I started making my own everything. Soap, body butter, shampoo, all the things that we use, revamping my makeup. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do all of this, and every little thing that you do really makes a huge difference. So then if you do come in contact with something, like there are some places that I have to use petroleum, and it's not as big of a deal because I'm not getting oversaturated with it on the back end. That makes sense. Pickled garlic is absolutely fantastic. I'll do a video on how I do my pickled garlic. The sugar and the fermentation process takes that spicy bite out of it, and it is delicious. If you take 1 clove in the morning on an empty stomach, it gives you a little bit of heat. It's almost like a cup of coffee, like really wakes you up. It's also incredible for knocking anything that you've got going on out of the park. If you feel like you're getting sick, if you have some sort of bacterial vaginosis going on, if you have some sort of infection going on, pickled garlic is incredible. Now, you don't want to overuse it. It is medicine, so you don't want to take it every day just as a precaution. That's not a good idea. But using it when you have an ailment going on is absolutely fantastic. I crochet my own tampons. I will be doing a video about that. That has made a huge difference, not only in my own body, because I did have to use a tampon the other day and it gave me cramps instantaneously. I started just cramping really, really bad. It helps with the environment because there's not so much garbage. The tampon situation is out of hand. Oh my gosh, it's really not cool. And then the cost. Oh my gosh, they're so expensive. So it's really fantastic. You just crochet your own. You can reuse them. It's not a big deal. I wash them in hydrogen peroxide and it's very sanitary and I've never had any problems. And then when they get too old, after a couple of years, you just make another. It really takes like 10 minutes. It's not a big deal at all. And it really saves your body and saves you a lot. These cleansing tampons have been a huge deal. Okay, these things are awesome. I will put the link down below. It's like $20 for 20 of them. They're super cheap. And what they do, you have to use them when you're not on your period. It says tampon in the name, but they're not a tampon. They're just a concoction of herbs. And you just put them up there for 3 to 5 days. And while you're not on your period, you have to do like 5 days or 7 days that you're not on your period. So in between. And then skin comes out, like chicken skin without the feathers kind of thing. Like I had like a piece of skin come out. Is pretty intense, but that's what the issue is with endometriosis, is that your uterine lining is not able to shed that skin. So that's what's causing all the pain. So if you get that out, especially in a natural way that's not surgery. So a lot of times the surgeries create lesions because they don't have quite the right. Every time you make a cut in your body, there's going to be fibrous material that tries to when it heals. So it's not always a good situation. So the lesions from the surgery can actually cause more damage than the endometriosis itself, which was already just heinous in the beginning. So let's not create more problems. Supplements. Supplements are a big deal, and this is going to help you so much. So evening primrose oil is fantastic. I take one every day. It's an omega-3, super good for your skin, hair, and nails, and all your vital organs. Just gives them a nice little lubrication, and it's super duper good. Now, when I'm on my period, I take 3 a day, morning, noon, and night. So you up that 1 to 3 a day, and you are going to see a huge difference in your period. Full disclosure, I still have pretty bad periods, but it's just that first day. Sometimes it's a couple days before. I'll get migraine, cramping, diarrhea, vomiting. I still get that, but it's like 10,000 times better than it was before. And before it was all the time, whereas now it's just when I first start my period. So, and I'm hoping over time that will get better. And sometimes it does. And sometimes it doesn't. I have had periods since I've been doing this that I didn't have any cramps. I didn't have any headaches. Everything was hunky-dory. And then I notice how emotional I am because I don't have the other messing that, like distracting me from that. But, one thing at a time. That's okay. The emotional part is not even, you deal with that how you deal with that. It's the physical part that's like, oh my gosh, I can't even deal with this right now. You know what I'm saying? So much better. Okay, the next one is, I already said it with the evening primrose oil, but omega-3s in general. So flaxseed oil or krill oil or cod liver oil, you want to get that omega-3. And a bonus of taking omega-3s is that you are not going to have sugar cravings anymore, because a lot of those sugar cravings are because you don't have enough omega-3s. So this is going to help your general health all the way around, and it's really, really fantastic. Okay, maca powder is wonderful. It's an adaptogen, so that means that if you have too much or you have too little of something, it just fixes it. It fixes your hormonal imbalances all by itself, and it tastes a little bit nutty and a little bit sweet. You can add it to your smoothies. It's delicious. Now, a word of caution about maca: it doesn't know what else you're taking. So if you're taking birth control, or you're taking some sort of progesterone or something, it doesn't know that that's happening. So it's going to read your body as it is, not what else you're loading on top. So it may or not be able to do its job. So depending on what's going on with you hormonally, that may or may not be a good option. Probiotics are so important. I touched on this in the pickled garlic. That is a probiotic. Getting a full spectrum of probiotics in your diet is fantastic. Now, you can buy probiotics. I have heard a lot of times it will bypass your stomach. The acid will eat it before it even helps. In my opinion, the closer to the source you can get, the better it is. So instead of powdered collagen, bone broth, or even vegan bone broth or whatever, is a much, much better situation. Although the powdered collagen is probably better than nothing. Is better than nothing, in my opinion. So the closer to the source you can get. So making your own kimchi, making your own sauerkraut. I do a fabulous kimchi recipe. I'll do a video on that. Making your own kombucha. I do a fabulous kombucha recipe. So these things can be tasty. They can be enjoyable. It doesn't have to be disgusting or a chore. I don't like sauerkraut, so I made up my own kimchi recipe because I didn't find one that I liked. I still haven't found a sauerkraut recipe that I like, but maybe I will someday. Maybe someone will share one with me that I can actually enjoy. So it doesn't have to be something that you're choking down, that you hate. This can be part of your daily. So yogurt, obviously, is so tasty, so delicious. You want to watch out for the sugars in yogurt. Some of them are just loaded with sugar, so be really, really careful with that. Be careful with your sugars in general. In my opinion, if people cut out white flour and white sugar, their health would improve like 60 to 80% right off the bat. So there's that. Okay. Homemade ginger ale is another great probiotic. Sourdough, fantastic probiotic. Kefir, you can do yogurt kefir or water kefir. I've been doing water kefir because the milk kefir was getting a little bit weird. We just don't really have super good quality milk, so it was a little bit weird. Okay, now women a lot of times get bombarded with chemicals because they are constantly cleaning. So a couple of really wonderful things to clean with. Borax is absolutely wonderful. It's an extreme alkaline, and I kid you not, I do use gloves because there's something weird going on with my hands. I think it's called like dish hands or something, and they get really, really dry and start cracking. So I use non-latex gloves. I use special gloves, but anyways, just, whatever. And you can clean your bathroom only with borax, and you just have to wipe so lightly and all the dirt just comes right off. It's really wonderful. The other wonderful cleaning product is vinegar. Vinegar and baking soda or borax, that extreme, like lemon, that extreme acid with that extreme base together forms the most amazing cleaning product that you'll ever have for your house, for your face, for your whole body. It's just fantastic. A lot of people are using it for their hair. This is not a new thing that I'm talking about. Okay, endometriosis many times is a liver problem. It means you have a taxed liver. So really taking care of your liver when you are diagnosed with endometriosis is a necessity. Now, I would recommend that everyone take care of their liver. This is your garbage disposal. So you really want to clean that out and make sure that you are treating that as well as possible. Things that are really good for cleansing the liver: dandelions, milk thistle. There's a whole bunch. So ginger, apples. Apples are fantastic for cleaning your liver. So introducing these things low and slow. You can do a liver cleanse as long as you want, but if you're kind of cleaning as you go, that's also a really great option. Managing your stress. They call endometriosis the working woman syndrome because it started to come about in the 80s when women were going back to work more. We all deal with and manage our stress differently. It's just important for you to find your balance. Say no, be honest, be loving to people, don't overextend yourself. Make sure that your goals are attainable. That's a really important one. When you have these huge, crazy goals, man, my life got so much better when my goals came down to something that was much, much more attainable. So being more self-sufficient is an absolutely wonderful thing as well. So making all these things myself means when the store's closed, it's fine because I make everything myself. And even just knowing how to do it takes a minute. I never do anything right the first time. So it takes a minute. You're gonna fail a little bit. And then hopefully I've done that already, so you can learn from my mistakes by watching my videos and learning how to do things. But this is how it goes when you're learning how to do something new. So as the more self-sufficient you can be, that is going to create more happiness. It's just better all the way around. Okay. So migraines have always gone along with my period, and I have learned a few things about how to deal with them. I'm actually going to make a separate video about managing my migraines. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Vitex is another incredible supplement that I use. It's also called chasteberry. And it really, really helps with, as you're getting into perimenopause or menopause, it can be a really, really wonderful herb. It helps to counteract all of that estrogen and keep you more balanced. But like I said, be careful when you're using it with the maca. Serrapeptase, I'm going to put the link down below for that too. That is an enzyme that is found in silkworms, and when you take it on an empty stomach, it eats protein. So I would take that in the beginning of the day before I eat. I'm doing intermittent fasting, so I don't eat till like noon. So if I get up at 8, that gives me hours. It goes in and it eats protein. So all of the extra inflammation or things that you have in your body, it can take care of that. So that is another really, really wonderful thing to use. Okay. So those are my tips and tricks for feeling better when you have endometriosis, and a little bit of explanation of why and what's going on. Please feel free to ask me questions down below. I will get to them as soon as I can if I forgot anything that is important to mention. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.